starting our summer writing prep series. So welcome. I'm Kathy Mazak at Scholar's Voice, and I'm wearing my gold jacket today. If you can see me on the YouTube, if not, hello to all my podcast listeners, to represent the golden thoughts that we have about this coming summer. Now, I'm using summer to represent the break that is coming in the semesters for many of us. So, of course, in North America, and even I would say here in the Caribbean, like we say it's summer. In Europe, but I know that some of my listeners are all over the world, so whatever season it is for you, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's winter. The break that is coming, but for shorthand, we're going to say summer writing. So many of you are already starting to dream about the writing you're going to get done this summer. And that's great because we want to, of course, have dreamy thoughts about writing and want, and anticipate the blocks of time we're going to get and the relief from teaching that some of us have during the summer break or the semester, the semester break. But here's the thing. Today, what I want to talk about is breaking the binge and bust cycle in academic writing. So those same happy summer thoughts that you're having, you're anticipating getting a bunch of writing done this summer. That's wonderful, and also could represent that you have subscribed to, or that the current way that you are thinking about your writing and getting your writing done is in this binge and bust way, right? The binge during the time when we're actually supposed to be resting, during the breaks between semesters, the breaks between all of the hustle and bustle of teaching, and not even just teaching, but all the hustle and bustle of the semester. And then there's these lulls. This is something that many of us love about the academic life, right? That there's kind of lulls in between semesters. But what happens is when we are professors, especially, we think of the break, and I'm using air quotes, as time to write. And that is what I call a binge and bust cycle. Because what happens? You are even right now, if you're listening live, it is early April, and maybe your semester ends in the middle of May, depending, of course, on where you are in the world and what your system looks like. But let's imagine that the end of the semester is 6 weeks away, and you're already thinking, I'm not going to write, I'll get to it once I turn in grades. And then what happens, right? You turn in grades, and of course, you're exhausted, and you think that you're going to have all of this open time for writing, when what actually happens is you have almost like a little breakdown, like a little collapse, right? Like a little, I just need to rest. And what happens is that our mindset starts to backfire when that happens. And instead of having this, I'm excited for the summer writing, we don't take rest, or we are forced to rest. How many of you have turned in grades and then gotten a summer cold, or, gotten sick somehow because your body's just you need to stop. And then your this writing or the projects that you've been postponing into the summer then get postponed even farther, and your mindset around everything continues to have the thoughts I can't get ahead, I'm always behind, I'm never going to get these writing projects done. And all of that is a negative, guilt-ridden, overwhelming relationship with writing instead of a positive, joy-filled, happy relationship with writing that propels you to continue to write more. So the binge and bust cycle doesn't really work. So if you're listening, comment if you've already had the idea, I'll just wait until summer to get back to that article that I'm supposed to be working on, because that's an indication that you are relying on this binge and bust. So the problem, we all know, right? The problem with binge and bust is the bust, right? Is that it's at some point, this system is going to break. because it's not really a system. It's a coping mechanism more than it is a system. So today I want to talk about what you can do to eliminate this binge and bust cycle while also honoring the energy that many of us get around the summertime around our writing. All right, so let's jump into it. So the first thing that I would say is the best way to eliminate the binge and bust is to figure out how you are going to get your writing from the edges of your time or from the breaks into your regular workload. So this is a concept shift. This is something that I talk about in my book, which is called Making Time to Write. You can get it on Amazon, read it this summer. I talk about it in my book, and it's all about centering writing. And what this means, when you center writing in your career, writing then becomes like an organizer for your career. It helps you decide your next career move. It helps you organize your time because you have to be good about boundaries and time management. It teaches you project management. Writing project management teaches you other kinds of project management. And when you do that also, you're honoring the real role that writing has in your career, which is a very, very important role for a scholar. So we spend a lot of time, there's so much scholarly energy spent on thinking about publications, right? And we kind of put publications on a pedestal, we revere them, right? We're like, publications are the holy grail. They're the currency of academia, all those things. But what we're not putting on a pedestal is the writing time that it takes to get us to the publications. So it's almost like the publications magically appear because we are not, or it seems that way, right? Or we're acting like they do because we're not honoring our writing time in the same way that we honor the publications once they're out in the world. So what that means is that we need to center our writing inside of our career. And what is your career? Your career is your everyday work life. Like, it's your week. Because at the end of the day, the career is the sum of the weeks that you worked. All right? So that means that writing has to find its way into your weeks. Now, you don't have to, you absolutely don't have to write every day. And in fact, I find that method is something that doesn't work very well for my clients, but something that really didn't work very well for me, right? Like that there would always be something that would kind of interrupt this writing every day. You know, it's something that can work. You can build up to that. But what I want you to understand is that you don't need that. Like, you don't need to write every day. You don't need to write 5 hours a week. You can make a big difference in the amount of publications that you get out the door by writing 1 to 2 hours a week, especially if they're a really good 1 or 2 hours, right? Like if you have a really good writing session. In our Navigate program, we teach you how to like engineer those writing sessions so that they are consistently pretty juicy and good and productive. But really, that's all it takes, especially because right now, I just want you to think right now. Right now, what you're considering is putting your writing aside between now and when you turn in grades. And again, maybe that's 6 weeks, maybe that's 8 weeks. So we're talking about 6 to 12 hours of writing that you're not doing. So when you look at it that way, what could you get done on an article if you had 6 to 12 hours? You do have 6 to 12 hours if you take 1 to 2 hours a week for the next few weeks. Now, this might not be something that you can do right now. You have not structured your weeks in order for you to be able to get 1 or 2 juicy hours of writing. You don't have the spaciousness in your calendar yet. You don't have that time to write, right? The time to write is not available to you yet. And it might not be for the next 6 weeks. And that's okay. That's something to start to think about. One of your goals for the summer, if your goal for the summer is to publish more things, then you should have like a co-occurring goal, which is to develop yourself professionally so that next year you're not in this like same spot where there's no where you're not working, where you're binging and busting, right? Like we want to get to the point where you have this like kind of flow of your writing practice that, yeah, you can pause it sometimes when you need to. If the semester is like, getting out of control, you can pause it, but you have the tools to pick it back up. And you might not need to pause it all the way because you're not trying to write 5 hours a week. You're just trying to write 1 to 2, working up to 3, and it fits. It's inside, it's centered in your week because it's centered in your career. So, breaking the binge and bust cycle. So one way to do it is to have that 1 to 2 hours a week, and trust that will get you far. Even if it doesn't get you, maybe you want to work up to a little bit more time, but really with just that time, but consistently, you will be able to publish so much more than you've published this semester or this year. So that's something to think about for the summer. Okay, so let's think about more ways that we can combat the binge and bust cycle this summer. So another thing to do to prepare for the summer is to set your goals in a way that allows for you to also rest. And I'm going to be getting more into this in a future video and podcast about how writing and rest are really, really connected. But one thing you can do right now is just back down your expectation for your writing goals for the summer. Make them more realistic. Integrate time for integration. So one of the things that's really important for anybody in a creative career or who is a creator at all of any kind is to have time for creation and time for what we call integration or restoration or that kind of downtime. So if you're going to be writing a lot this summer, you also need to plan to have spaciousness and rest and time to not write. One of the biggest mental shifts or one of the biggest mindset shifts that people need to make when they want to break this binge and bust cycle is that when they're looking at their summer, they're thinking, I can write for 6 hours a day or 8 hours a day. Like some of you are having this thought, right? Like once I get to summer, I can write for 8 hours a day. Nobody is writing for 8 hours a day. Actually, this is something you might want to check out. Go back. I have a podcast episode that's about the sabbatical. That's about taking an academic sabbatical and how to plan for it. And in there, I talk about like, it's impossible to work 8 hours a day on your writing or on your sabbatical project. It's just, no, you can't. You're not going to be typing for 8 hours. You're not even going to be cycling between reading and writing for 8 hours for the whole summer. That's just an unrealistic goal and a kind of skewed thought. Instead, what you want to do is create some kind of structure for your summer writing, but don't make it be, I'm going to sit down at 9 and I'm going to stand up from my desk at 5. It's just like completely not realistic. So some things you could do is like, say you're going to work half days, right? In the morning, you're going to do some writing, you're going to do reading. You can do a walk and think, which is one of my favorite things to do, where if you're trying to solve an academic problem or a writing problem, taking a walk while you're thinking about it can really help you to work through that. Maybe you'll read some professional development books, and then in the afternoon, that's it. You're done. You just relax, you do something else, go to the pool, do something. But don't think that you're going to write for 8 hours a day all summer. That is a binge and bust mentality, and you will bust. Like you will not be able to sustain that. And then all you do again is you create these negative cycles. It's a downward spiral where you lose confidence in yourself, and so you lose confidence in your writing, so you write less, so you publish less. That's the real result of binge and bust. When you bust, what happens is you break, or you I don't want to say destroy because I think it's too exaggerated, but for lack of a better word, you destroy, you damage, let's say, you damage your relationship to your writing. And the relationship to your writing is so important. Like your relationship to the writing practice, your thoughts about yourself as an academic writer and a scholar, all of those things are just as important as your quote unquote productivity, your ability to manage your schedule, your ability to break your projects into tasks, your own feelings about your writing and your writing process are just as important, if not more important, than all those kind of technical things about productivity, time management, project management. That's why inside of our Navigate program, even though we start with talking about the publication pipeline, and then we talk about project management, and then we talk about clearing your schedule, we spend actually the majority of the time of the program, in the second half of the program, really walking you through how to create a writing practice that is going to be sustainable, and we say relationship based. That means that the writing practice itself has at its center that you are going to create a positive relationship with your writing. And we have ways of creating, like, we call them positive feedback loops, that are like you're continuing to feel positive feelings about your writing. And that's what gives you the momentum to keep going, to write for more days a week or have more writing sessions, and to trust that you can do it, which is like a big, big part of the work of being a scholarly writer, is getting that confidence in yourself that you can do this kind of writing. So, breaking the binge and bust cycle, we are definitely heading, you already might be thinking about the summer binge. We already talked about how you can prevent the summer binge by integrating writing into your weekly, centering writing in your career such that it becomes part of your work week. Because again, your career is actually the sum of your work weeks. So if you're not spending time during your work week writing, then you are leaving out an essential part of your career every week. So we want to fix that. So that's one problem to fix. The other is like to stop thinking that you're going to write for 8 hours a day or work on your publishing for 8 hours a day during the summer. That is unrealistic. So those are like the two, I think, biggest things to think about as you're prepping for summer writing. For the rest of the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be talking about your summer writing prep. So that means that I'm having a video series right here on YouTube, mostly by YouTube live videos. You can see them if you subscribe. Of course, like my video and subscribe, as the YouTubers say, so that you can make sure that you see our content as it comes out over the next 3 weeks for our summer writing prep series. Because let's get ready to go and write this summer. Now, I have a big announcement I want to make here. I know I'm doing it right at the end of this episode, but I want to announce that our much anticipated summer session of our Navigate Your Writing Roadmap program is open for applications. So that means if you've gotten on the wait list, you're going to be getting an email, or you should have already gotten an email that says applications are open. If you're not on our Navigate wait list, you will find the link to apply in the description of this video. And if you're already on my email list, which you can get to by going to scholarsvoice.org and scrolling down to the bottom, you can subscribe to our In the Pipeline newsletter. Then you will be getting emails all about this summer writing prep series, so you don't miss a single video. If you're listening to this podcast in your favorite podcast app, then you definitely want to come over to YouTube for seeing all of these videos. We are not going to be publishing all 9 of the summer writing prep series videos in the podcast feed. So you're going to want to come check them out on YouTube as well so you don't miss anything. And if you want to join us for our summer session of Navigate, applications are open. Applications close the week of May 8th, and we start our Navigate summer session on May 15th. You must enroll by the 12th. So the cutoff day for enrollment is the 12th. So make sure you apply way before then. Apply right now. We have a special application process. Let me tell you about it real quick. Not only in the application are we looking for people who have an almost done article that they are ready to get out the door. That is one of the main criteria for enrollment in Navigate, because part of our 12-week Navigate program is that we walk you through a process of getting that almost done article out the door, because what we're doing in Navigate is we are preparing you to clear your pipeline. You're not going to be able to clear your pipeline in 12 weeks, but we're preparing you that you will at least get 1 article submitted during the 12 weeks. And in the next year, if you follow what you learned in Navigate, you will be able to clear your publication pipeline. So we're looking for people who have a backlog of analyzed data that they haven't written on, or they have a pile, a digital pile of almost done articles or partially done articles on their computer that are like in various stages of done. Maybe you have at least 1, but you probably got 3 to 5 partially done. Maybe you started the intro, maybe it's outlined, maybe it's on 50 to 80% drafted. You've got a bunch of those types of pieces that you want to get out the door. Then you're a great candidate for Navigate as well, and you should apply. In our Navigate program, what we do is we start with the big picture of your publication pipeline. We talk about what the pipeline is, how to manage it. We help you choose which of those almost done articles you're going to work on during our Navigate program, so you start to develop that discernment and that decision-making criteria around what to work on next. Then we work on the second level of writing project management, which is how to do, the second level of writing planning or publication planning, which is breaking projects into tasks and becoming really good at predicting your time to task. So we work with you on how you're going to do that. Spoiler alert, the only way is to collect data on yourself. So we teach you how to do that process so that you can find the power in predictability. So if you can predict how long it's going to take you to do something, you're going to make such better decisions on kind of setting your own personal due dates for things. You're going to make better decisions on saying yes to projects with other people, because you're going to know how long it actually takes you to get your writing done, how big or small you need to break a writing project down into in order to do all those tasks. And you're going to learn the really important relationship between the task list and your calendar. Then we're going to move on to weekly planning and clearing space and time in your calendar through our process of aligning your activities. We write your academic mission statement, and then we work to align all of your activities behind that academic mission statement, which takes you on a process of culling away the things that are off mission. And that's really, really important for many reasons. I mean, it's definitely important for making time to write in order to get your publications out, but it's also important for your career. It's really important for going up for tenure and promotion. It helps your career to feel all about one thing. So that pulled in 1,000 directions feeling gets alleviated by doing this process. And it really makes you, it clarifies your academic brand in a way that has really powerful outcomes for your career in how you can network and who asks you to collaborate. And it just can lead to so many great opportunities. And many people in our programs who graduate from Navigate and work on their writing and publication according to our methods have the great problem of, at some point, everything they're asked to do is on mission. And that is a place that we want you to get. That's like kind of the next level. But that is a super exciting place to be, because that means people know who you are, what you're about, and what your work is about. Then After we do all of that, then we work through creating these writing sessions of the type that I've been talking about in this video, where your writing sessions are, we call them soaring sessions, that you feel like you have flow. You feel like the writing is coming without a lot of slogging. You really build these positive feedback loops with your writing practice, and it is a practice. It's not just like, I'm going to do it every day. It's a writing practice that we talk about very deeply, all the ways that you can develop your practice, all the tools in it. It's a whole system of writing tools that help you develop and maintain a flowing pipeline and a healthy writing practice that is based in a good relationship with your writing. So, and then at the very end, you submit your article that you've been working on throughout the program, and we all celebrate you and your achievements so much. So again, if you're listening live, if you're watching live, then applications are open. The link is in the description of this video. And if you're already on my email list, you will be getting emails that talk about, the fact that applications are open. If you aren't interested in applying, that's totally fine. Please just keep following the Summer Writing Prep series. We've got so many juicy, good videos for you coming up that are going to help make your summer writing the best and feel really, really good. So I can't wait to see you in the next one. And apply for Navigate. We can't wait to form our cohort. Again, applications are open now. Enrollment ends May 12th. Program starts May 15th and ends August 4th. All right? See you inside. Bye.